What's up, guys? This is Brave, and I'm back with another review of Grownish. This is Season 4, Episode 2. Let's go ahead and get right into it. Well, actually, I just want to say this. Shout out to all the Zoe and Aaron Zarin fans out there, because you guys got me together in the comments for the first episode review. I stand corrected. I'm sorry. I was the only one who did not see it for Aaron and Zoe. Oh my gosh. Y'all came for me. But thank you all for watching my review. Now let's go ahead and get into this one. Alright, so I think I forgot to mention that the episode is titled Drunk in Love. And that is definitely how Zoe and Aaron got into this situation, because they are now going to jail. So they're getting walked in by the police, and they're trying to come up with this plan of how they're going to get out of there, because Zoe, she feels like she hasn't even lived yet, and because Aaron is 1 year older than her, he has. Aaron is like, I don't have no money. Zoe has no money. Aaron thinks that this is just like a scare tactic, and he's like, okay, well, listen, I'm going to call Doug, and then, he's going to show up for us. No, not exactly, because Doug does not answer his phone. Why? Because he's trying to explain to Luca that he is not interested in this quinceañera. He don't want to be at this party with these young people. He would rather go home, considering he's in Mexico and they are just literally at a quinceañera. So Luca is like, no, you're thinking about this all the wrong way and all this stuff. And I'm just like, Luca, you're enjoying your little tres leche cake. However, it is kind of boring for Doug, considering this is not what he wanted to do. He thought he was just going to chill out and drink. And you are at a 15-year-old's party. Yeah, of people that y'all don't even know. It is a bit weird. So next thing you know, one of the girls who they saw in the lobby comes up to Doug and takes him to the dance floor. So then we flash on over to everybody at the house, right? So you have Jazz, you have Anna, Vivek, and Nomi. They're all sitting around because now everybody knows what has happened between Javi and Anna, or at least they think they know. So they're just talking about how, why was it that you were going to fly out of here or whatever. She's like, I didn't think this through. And the crazy part is that Javi comes out the room and he's like, Anna, can I talk to you? And Vivek is like, now is not a good time. So you do see that Jazz kind of taps her to be like, girl, say something to this man. However, she doesn't. She just sits there. So Anna is very hurt and pissed off. So Javi ends up walking away, and I think him and Vivek kind of walked away together. So I'm assuming that they're going to go somewhere together. I don't know. That was kind of weird to me. But you have Nomi, who has a lot more sense than Anna does, because she's like, so you were just going to fly back to L.A. instead of making him fly back to LA. That has been the thing that has blown my mind since the last episode, because she was packing a bag and I'm like, no, sweetheart, you should have been packing his stuff up. You should have been packing up all his little stuff that he brought to Mexico and been like, you're going back to LA. I'm on vacation with my friends. So next thing you know, Anna is like, he didn't even give me anything. So I'm assuming that the friends thought that Javi actually gave her the STD, but he did not. So now they feel like they wasted their time. So one thing that was interesting to me was that you have Jazz. Oh my gosh, I really want to call her Chloe. You have Jazz. She's like, people say they want full disclosure, but really they don't. Because basically, Javi shouldn't have told Anna this. She shouldn't have told Doug what happened with her and old boy. And then you have Nomi chiming in, talking about I tried that, but it didn't work out for me. I said, girl, you had evidence. You had a whole baby. You had a whole baby. That's a little bit different. So basically, we end the scene with Anna talking about how she just wished that Javi was a bit more honest with her. And I'm just like, I'm still trying to get a timeline as to when he hooked up with this other girl, because he been with you for a cool minute. And when you met him, he was supposed to be celibate or whatever it was he was trying to do. Now let's go ahead and move on to Zoe and Aaron because they are still, waiting for something to happen to them while they're in jail. Baby girl's over here about to have a damn panic attack. But Aaron, he thinks he's the man, so he's like, I'm about to go handle this, baby. Watch me work real quick. Y'all, he get up there talking about some, I'm not just an American trying to exploit your country. I'm not even American, I'm African American. I said, oh God, this is not starting off well. So then he goes on to say, like, the officer can come back to their house and all this stuff. And next thing you know, baby boy gets booked. Okay, now he's chained to the chair like the rest of the people who are at this police station. So now these two are getting into an argument, right? And let's go ahead and break this argument down because I feel like there were some things that were said that were quite interesting. So Aaron ends up calling out Zoe for stealing the piano, right? Because he thinks that's why they're there. And Zoe is like, well, if you didn't have us lingering on that beach, basically saying because it took him a while to get himself working properly. I mean, as Zoe calls it, a delayed performance. And you can already tell now that Aaron feels some type of way because he's like, listen, you watch your mouth, okay? I fell out laughing at that part. And then when he was like, well, I had to spend all my time catering to your needs. So, how I took that is very different than maybe, other people took it. I took it as he was putting in all this work at the beach, right? Pleasuring Zoe. And then his little buddy wasn't ready. But I'm just like, well, Zoe, you could have helped him out. You could have woke him up a little bit. Just saying. But it was interesting how Aaron said, I had to take care of you because, you were walking around sulking because nobody wants to do the activities that you planned. And I said, well, that is very true because that's part of the reason why he even wanted to take you on the date was because, you was in your feelings. So Aaron basically explains that he would have rather, stayed at the hotel, not the hotel, the villa, chilled out, and just hooked up with Zoe the whole time. And she's like, yeah, well, that's all you want to do to begin with because that's how we ended up on the beach. Now, here's my thing, because this actually speaks to a bigger problem that I have noticed in this current era of people hooking up, dating, whatever they want to call it. Now keep in mind, they have been together for 2 weeks already. He never took her on an official date. However, the only thing that he wants to do with Zoe is have sex with her. That type of situation really bothers me because I'm just like, well, how much do you really want to be with her if that's the only thing that you're getting out of this? I'm kind of giving Aaron a side eye for that. Because even at one point, you have Zoe saying how, she is now married, and her dumbest decision was being married to a horn dog with a rat tail named Avery. And I'm just like, yeah, but at the same time, Zoe, you accepted it. You accepted being in a relationship with someone who basically only wants you for sex. Because that is what it's sounding like. To me, this is no different than when he was randomly hooking up with Anna. What makes Zoe different? And that's all that you're going to be doing with her. I'm just saying, just from the way that this show is written. That's my standpoint. Now, as far as his response to her, though, he's like, yeah, Zoe, it's hard being married to you, too, because of your personality. I said, oh, that cut a little bit deeper. Please expound upon that, sir. So we end up hopping over to, what's his name? Doug and Luca. So Doug is basically having a great old time with old girl. And next thing you know, she's like, well, I'm about to go to the bathroom. Come with me. He about to go hook up with her in the bathroom. I'm just like, Doug, please be safe and don't have some random little mixed child out in Mexico. So we get back to Aaron and Zoe. So Aaron is trying to figure out what is wrong with them because he feels like, throughout the whole time that they've known each other, it's taken this long for them to get together. I think it's been, 3 years? And, he's like, every time that we get together, though, we don't act like ourselves. We act like we're idiots. And he's like, because you stole a pinata and all this stuff. And I'm just like, yeah, but also you guys are drunk. And I feel like that plays a factor in this equation, sir. So Zoe is like, yes, us getting married was a dumb, drunk, impulsive decision that we made. But I think our bigger issue right now is us being in jail. But of course, he has a rebuttal because he's like, you stole a dumb pinata. We got married, and what was the other thing he said? Oh, they were in jail at the moment. Now, Zoe's like, well, maybe that's our karma because, of how everything played out with us getting together and Rochelle and all this stuff. And I'm just like, well, because at the end of the day, the way that he kind of just was like, okay, Zoe, I want to be with you. I'm just like, well, did he break up with Rochelle first before he told Zoe that he wanted to be with her? That was like my one question that I had at the end of last season. Well, I actually had a couple of questions, but as far as their relationship, did he tell Rochelle that he can't do this anymore and then show up to Zoe's house? Or was, telling Rochelle something that happened later? So Aaron is like, at the end of the day, we bring out the worst in each other. Now, I honestly don't understand how we got to this point, considering the events that occurred. Yes, Zoe stole a pinata, but who cares? Y'all had sex on the beach, even though when the cops showed up, y'all had y'all clothes on. It just looked like y'all were laid out on the beach. And most of the time, if that were to happen, the police would just tell you to leave. Okay. Now, as far as them getting married, again, they were drunk. Like, I just don't understand how Aaron is making it seem like this is the worst of the worst of the worst that could possibly happen. When I'm just like, first of all, this is not, Zoe's worst behavior. Please no. Hell, it's not even yours. I think that messiness between you bouncing between her and Rochelle, that was a mess. Okay? So, Zoe is just like, well, I'm just glad that, now we know how each other feels. And because clearly she still wants, to show him that, no, we are good together. But for some reason in his mind, he thinks that, this is the worst decision of his life, basically. So she, gets up and she walks away. Now, at this moment, I'm just like, so why are y'all at this police station? Because how are y'all just sitting there? Ain't nobody told y'all nothing. He's chained to a chair. You're not. You can walk around. Hell, you can probably walk up out of there. But let's just go ahead and move on. So we actually get Vivek and Javi having a conversation. Javi basically feels like, it was just chlamydia. Why she tripping? And it's just like, sir, could you not? So anyways, Vivek, he's like, listen, I am usually writing for my bros, but on this situation, I'm not. Basically telling him that he was wrong and how he should have been honest. Because then he has to go into his situation with Heidi. And he said, and I quote, not telling Heidi about, me drug dealing. That was the worst decision that I made. And I'm just like, really? That was the worst? Hell, I'm just like Javi. How was that, the worst decision when you were a drug dealer? Sir, what are we talking about here? Also, I just want to call out Heidi because, again, every time Vivek brings her up, I just think it's crazy to me that she will take drugs, but she can't date the drug dealer. That is weird to me because her and Vivek, when they hooked up with that dude, she was the first one who took the pill. So I'm just like, wait, so you can take drugs, but you can't date a drug dealer? It's a bit too risky for you? Either way, if you get caught with drugs, you're going to, probably be arrested, girl. But one thing that I actually noticed within this episode, now that I'm paying attention to that situation, is that everybody is broken up or on the verge of breaking up. And I'm just like, can we get a few happy couples in here? Just saying. Everybody don't need to be heartbroken, in these next coming episodes. But let's go ahead and move on. All right, now let's get back to Zoe and Aaron. So the cop is actually coming by to take the handcuffs off of Aaron. He's like, you're free to go. However, Zoe is not, because Zoe admitted that she's the one who took the pinata. So you mean to tell me that this whole time they have been sitting around this police station while they waited on one of them to admit that they took a pinata? I don't even understand what's happening with this scene anymore. Because next thing you know, they're trying to take Zoe away, and Aaron is no, you can't just take her like that or whatever, and watch where you put your hands. And, he's really trying to, stand up for Zoe. But, they end up taking her to the back. Now, next thing you know, so you have Aaron, he actually approached the officer again and was like, are you really going to make her spend a night in jail over a petty theft of her stealing a pinata? And the guy was like, yeah. And Aaron is like, if it's for money, I can go to the ATM, whatever. And the guy was like, no, it's too late. Just come back and get her in the morning. And, Aaron is trying to press the security guard or officer or whatever he is. And I'm just like, Aaron, I'm not trying to be rude, but I wouldn't do that in Mexico. Not the way the Mexican prison system is set up. So I'm glad that he just kind of walked away, because if anybody knows anything about jails in other countries, you do not want to go to jail in Mexico. That's all I'm going to say. Let's go ahead and move on. Now, let's go ahead and go over to this conversation with Anna and Javi. Anna is trying to figure out why is it so difficult for Javi to communicate with him, because communicate with her, because at the end of the day, he has this woman in his phone as somebody. She was texting him all the time, and, he never said to Anna, hey, I have an STD, or there's a chance that I may have this STD. This is the situation. He never spoke to her about it. Now, here's my only thing about this whole situation and why I keep saying, what's the timeline? Because I feel like he has been dating her for a while. When did he have time to go, hook up with some other girl and then start dating Anna? I just need to know what happened there. But he tells her how, this must be triggering for your trust issues, because clearly you have them. And I'm just like, I'm sorry. I don't think that this has anything to do with her having trust issues. You blatantly hid something from her. Let's not sit up here and act like Anna is overreacting. Actually, she's not. Because at the end of the day, you have been texting another woman, regardless of it being about this whole STD situation. You have been texting someone else. You don't have that person's name listed in your phone. You have them under somebody. And the fact that you should now know this person's name. Because when he finally admitted it, he said, that some girl that I hooked up with a while back before I got with you, she saved her number in my phone as somebody. And I'm just like, so you mean to tell me when she reached back out to you, you never said, so what's your name again? Okay. Also, the fact that he ended up putting Anna's health at risk, I'm just giving Javi the side eye. I want her to, find somebody else, because Javi ain't it. Because, he's like, we are not going to be able to fix these issues on a vacation with your friends. And I'm just like, you're making it sound like she is the one with the issue, or really you're the problem. I don't like that. I don't appreciate it. And he's like, well, maybe I should go. And I'm like, you should have left the first time. You should have left when she was packing her bags. If anything, like I said, she should have packed your bags for you and kicked you out. But let's go ahead and move on, because our girl Zoe was released from jail. And who was actually outside waiting for her? Of course, it was Aaron. He actually slept outside waiting for her. And, she was happy to see him. And they actually have a conversation about what went down the night before. Yes, it was their craziest night together. But at the end of the day, there were some things that were said that was just off impulse, even though some of it had, a little bit of truth in it. And they decided that they were going to get a divorce. Now, this whole time, I'm just like, well, y'all do realize that this marriage is not real because there was no marriage license. You're married in a different country, and yeah. So once they decide that they're going to get a divorce, they realize that their union was not even legal. So they actually end up going back to the house, and everybody's there. They're about to eat. They're like, where were you guys? We haven't seen y'all in a minute. And they're just like, oh, we just had a little fun date night in Mexico. They did not go into details, which I thought was really cool because that means that they are not going to be telling their friends every little detail about their relationship, which I'm all here for. So once they're sitting down, they talk about how they're going to, spend more time with each other as a group because everybody did not like how the night ended the day before. And, Zoe is super happy about that because that's all she wanted was for everybody to do stuff together. And next thing you know, you have Luca making a toast in Spanish. And I mean like perfect Spanish compared to what Doug was doing. And Doug is like, wait, you mean to tell me you did not need me there to translate? And he's like, no, you have terrible Spanish. I just wanted to see you win because you were in your feelings. And I'm just like, look at Luca. You did have a purpose on this trip because I could not figure out why you were there. But that was pretty much the end of the episode. Oh, wait. Actually, Vivek was looking at his phone and he's like, yeah, that virus that was overseas, it's now in the U.S. So I'm assuming that they're going to have some type of COVID something happening on this next episode. Maybe we'll see, because I watched it on Hulu, so I don't get to see like the next week's preview. But let me know what you guys thought about this episode. I must say I actually did like this episode, even though I didn't really get that much of Jazz and Nomi or even Doug and Luca, honestly. But I did like seeing Aaron and Zoe kind of have a conversation about their relationship, as well as I guess I liked seeing the whole Anna and Javi thing just to hear his perspective. But I just feel like he tried to play games because at the end of the day he was wrong completely. Regardless of her trying to go into your phone, she had a valid reason. It was because somebody kept blowing your phone up. But let's not even rehash that. Go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe to my channel, you guys. Let me know what y'all thought about the episode, and I will talk to you in the next one. Bye, guys.